So, you're learning Japanese. You've probably heard people talking about the JLPT, right? It's the biggest, most recognized Japanese test in the entire world. But what do all those levels, N5, N4, N3, and so on, actually mean? Well, today, we're going to break it all down and demystify the entire system. But first, let's just step back and ask a really basic question. How do you even measure how good you are at a language? Is it the number of words you know? Is it perfect grammar? Or is it just being able to order a coffee without causing an international incident? It's kind of hard to nail down, right? And that's exactly the problem the JLPT sets out to solve. And its solution is to create a single, global standard that everyone can use. For millions of learners and, for employers and universities all over the world, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, the JLPT, is the official yardstick. It's how they measure your Japanese ability. So the whole thing is split into 5 levels. It's a pretty straightforward path. You start at N5, the easiest one, and you climb all the way up to N1, which is the most difficult. Seems simple enough, right? But the real story here, the interesting part, is how these levels actually connect to each other. See, instead of just thinking about it as a 5-step ladder, the people who actually make the test want you to see it as a journey in 3 main stages. And this journey is designed to take you from what you learn in a textbook to using Japanese out there, in the real world. So let's break that journey down, starting right at the beginning. All right, so stage 1 is all about the foundation. This covers the first 2 levels, N5 and N4. The official guide basically says these levels are all about measuring your understanding of the kind of Japanese you'd pick up in a classroom setting. Now, if you look at the official descriptions for these two, at first glance, they seem almost identical. N5 is understanding some basic Japanese. N4 is understanding basic Japanese. So what's the big deal about dropping that one little word, some? Well, it actually means a lot. N5 is all about getting the absolute fundamentals down. You can read hiragana and katakana, you know a few essential kanji, you get this fixed phrases and really simple sentences, and you can follow along with short, slow chats about everyday stuff. It's literally like you're stacking those very first building blocks of the language. Then at N4, you start really building on that foundation. You're moving past just fixed phrases and starting to understand complete ideas. You can read simple stuff about topics you know, and this is a big one, you can understand the main point of a conversation, even if some words fly by. This is where real communication starts to kick in. Okay, now we get to what might be the single most important level in the entire system, N3. This is the second stage of our journey, and honestly, it's a huge turning point for anyone who's serious about learning Japanese. The JLPT site itself uses a really specific, really powerful Japanese word for N3, hashiwatashi. It means bridge, and that just perfectly nails its role, doesn't it? It's the level that connects the textbook world of N5 and N4 with the real-world fluency you need for N2 and N1. Getting across this bridge is a massive milestone. So the whole point of N3 is to get you to a place where you can understand and use Japanese in everyday situations to a certain degree. It's not about being perfect. It's about the language stopping being just a school subject and starting to become a tool you can actually use to communicate. So what does that actually look like? Well, at N3, you can read and understand articles about everyday things. You can get the gist of a newspaper headline. And you can follow conversations that are spoken at a speed that's getting pretty close to natural. You are officially out of the shallow end of the pool. And that brings us to the final stage of the journey, real-world fluency. This is where N2 and N1 come in. These levels are designed to see if you can understand Japanese, not just in day-to-day life, but across a really broad and often complex range of situations. And once again, you gotta look closely at the wording here. N2 is about understanding Japanese in everyday life plus a variety of other situations. But N1, it just says a wide range of circumstances. It's a subtle shift from variety to wide range, but it makes all the difference. Let's dig into that. This table really breaks it down for us. So look at reading. At N2, you can handle regular newspaper and magazine articles. But at N1, you're expected to understand logically complex stuff, like editorials or abstract writing. For listening, it's the same kind of jump. At N2, you can follow news at a near natural speed, but at N1, you're following lectures and news at full natural speed. And you're not just getting the facts, you're understanding the logical structure, the nuances, the whole shebang. So a simple way to think about it is that N2 is often considered the benchmark for being professionally fluent. It's the level you need to really function in a Japanese-speaking office or at a university, where you can understand not just what people are saying, but the intent behind it. And then there's N1. This is the mountaintop. This isn't just about understanding the information anymore. It's about being able to comprehend nuance, abstract ideas, and complex arguments on a really deep level. It's about understanding the language pretty much how a native speaker would in almost any situation you can think of. Okay, so after that whirlwind tour through all 5 levels, let's bring it back to you. Now that you can see the whole structure, you can start thinking about your own learning goals and figure out where you fit on this path. So to wrap it all up, just remember that 3-stage journey. You start with the foundation, N5 and N4, to master the basics from the classroom. Then you cross that all-important bridge at N3 to connect what you know to real life. And finally, you aim for real-world fluency with N2 and N1 to get that deep, comprehensive understanding. And that really is the key thing to remember. The JLPT isn't just some big, scary final exam you have to pass. It's better to think of it as a roadmap. Each level gives you a clear destination, a clear set of goals, which can help you structure your studies and actually see your progress in a really tangible way. So, if the JLPT gives you this clear path from the most basic phrases all the way up to deep, nuanced understanding, the only question left is, where is your journey going to take you?